Excelsior, true believers. It is I, Shane, and I'm here with you to give you another The Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode review recap. It's episode 5. It's called Truth. And of course, we got one more episode after this. This episode was 61 minutes, but the true runtime, I would give it, I'd say about 55. It was really close. At the credits didn't matter. BTW, there's an after credit scene, so if you're watching this before you watch the show, I would say watch them at the same time because I want your view, but watch the show first and then come on back. And before I get right into this, I want to tell you one thing. Please give me a like, a comment, and a subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Trying to get to 100 subscribers. Honestly, I was trying to get to it before the beginning of this month, but you know what? We still trying to get to 100 subscribers. So let's just go. Let's get it. Let's get right into it. I got my notes here. I got some extra notes right here. Let's have some fun, shall we? So, we had a recap. Recap was almost of everything that's happened with Sam's family, the shield being passed on, Zemo escaping, stupid Carly Morgenthau, Isaiah Bradley, Sam giving up the shield, Battlestar getting killed last week's episode, and now we have John Walker running away after he killed that guy, and the perspective that we get to see is pretty neat because the vision around him is blurred and he's having flashbacks of being with Battlestar or Lamar, but being with Battlestar and the conversations and everything, and he's talking to himself, literally talking to himself. He ends up kneeling down with the Blaze Shield, and Sam and Bucky show up, and one of the last things his friend told him, like, let's go to work. He cracks his neck and says, all right, let's go to work. And he tries to walk past them. And, he did what he had to do. He had to kill that guy because that guy killed Lamar. And they both tell him that wasn't the guy that killed Lamar. Trust us, which is crazy because if they both knew it was Carly that killed him, how would he not? I understand that he was in the heat of the moment and he just juiced up with some of the serum, but it's kind of like a little fault. Either that or John really doesn't need to be any type of soldier in any type of capacity if he's doing that, especially coming off the heels of some real life things that are going on. I'm not saying they made this during the week. I'm just saying when I think about a person like that who cannot actively tell that the person who you just killed did not kill the other person. Yeah. And he's blaming the heat of battle, and Bucky tells him, "Don't go down that path. You don't want to go there." And he says, "I'm not like you. You're an asshole, John Walker. You're gonna get what's coming to you." Sam says, "All right, you can blame it on the heat of battle. Explain to them what happened. They don't want anybody else to get hurt. If he explains, given his track record, they're gonna go easy on him." And he's telling them, "You got to give me the shield, man." And Walker's super paranoid, and he's like, "You guys don't want to do this." And Bucky straight up, "Yeah, we do." If you see that commercial, this is right where this kicks off, but it doesn't drag out. He goes, "Yes, we do." Sam doesn't look at him. They jump right into action. Fight straight up, just one of the best fight scenes, honestly, I've seen in these Marvel shows, and particularly in Marvel. Really good. Not up there with the Cap elevator fight scene, but pretty good. They're stopping him from mortally killing the other person. Sam has to stop him from killing Bucky with the shield. Bucky has to stop him from killing Sam with the shield. He ends up throwing the shield at Bucky, which is just weird because they want it. Bucky grabs it, and they're fighting over it, and they're wrestling over it. And Sam has to Sam ends up grappling this guy, and he's yelling while he's fighting with Bucky, saying, "Why are you making me do this? Why are you making me do this?" Tries to pull it with the grapple. He's flying, and they're contesting. Gotta remember, he's juiced up now with that super soldier stuff. And right when he had to, right when they were pulling it, they both end up falling down. The shield's in the middle, and they're both diving forward. They kind of get a moment where Sam looks like he's doing a good job, but boy, oh boy, he rips the wings off of Sam's wingsuit, saying that he's Captain America. And at one point, he kicked Bucky so hard that his arm was kind of sparking. But we get to a moment where they end up getting this guy pinned. They're trying to pull the shield off of his arm, Thanos style on Titan, and Bucky's holding him down. Sam's using his thrusters because his wings are gone to pull it off. Dude's fighting, and unfortunately, fortunately, that arm get broke. That arm breaks, just bends back. Walker, for some reason, still tries to fight them, and Bucky and Sam do this really cool maneuver where he looks like he's going for a choke slam, and Sam does a thruster kick. Everybody's on the ground. Bucky picks up the shield. We see him with the shield for a minute, and he places it by Sam because ultimately, that's who Steve wanted to have the shield, right? And I did find it very interesting that Bucky didn't walk off with it. His whole deal was to take it away from Walker, but he put it with the rightful owner. And Sam's looking over the shield. He's nearly in tears, and he's wiping the blood away. You can see Anthony Mackie's such a wonderful actor. You can see emotion in this guy's face. So the police in the GRC are conducting raids to find Carly, but she's gone. At this point, we have Bucky, Sam, and then Torres is coming in. And Torres does make a joke, say, "Hey, you got your sleeve back." Because remember, last time we saw him, he had to rip off the sleeve of his jacket, and now his jacket has the sleeve back on. It's kind of a little nudge at Marvel, saying, "Hey, you have more jackets made," or maybe he just bought another jacket. Who knows? But Bucky leaves out. Sam asks him, "Are you going to go find Zemo? You going to Zemo?" Kind of looks at him, goes about his business. And Torres says, the issue with Captain America killing a foreign national in public, that's a big deal. Everything's been taken out of their hands because Sam's trying to figure out what the next move is. There is no next move. The higher ups have more or less sidelined everybody. There's just no jurisdiction talking here. There's overstepping boundaries. Sam's basically saying, Carly's laying low. If they don't find her now, they're never going to find her. And Sam has his wingsuit in a backpack, and Torres is like, "Hey, what? You're leaving without this?" And he's like, "You can keep it." Sam is leaving with that shield. Doesn't matter what anybody says. He's leaving with the shield. Excuse me. So as always, Sam thanks Torres for his work, and there we go. They just leave. Walker, he had been stripped of everything. Back in the U.S., he's stripped of his title, of his authority. His wife is there, the black lady. His wife is there. He goes off on the council because they literally, they're reading him down the middle, and he's trying to get a moment to talk. And of course, the cinema's bringing out dude has PTSD and he has anger issues. So he brings this out and he's saying, "I am what you made me to be. I'm a soldier." It's a commentary on being a soldier. He's done everything they told him to do. He is Captain America. They said, "No, you're not Captain America anymore." Not only did they've dishonorably discharged him, he's not going to get any retirement benefits. He's not getting jack. Nothing. This man is screwed over. He's done for. And he's out in the hallway with his wife. She's saying, "You're going to have to visit Lamar's family and tell them what's going on." And suddenly, we were told that we were going to get a special guest character, a character that has not been seen in a Marvel movie yet. And I had to pull up her name because I always get her confused with Courtney Cox for some reason. It is Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Yes, that chick from Seinfeld, The New Adventures of Old Christine and Jeep. She is playing, and I want to get her full name correct, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. And she gets a little joke moment of saying, "You can call me Val, but actually don't call me Val, just think of it in your head." Quick rundown on who this character is. This character was chosen by Dum Dum Dugan and had served in S.H.I.E.L.D. That's right. She served in S.H.I.E.L.D. That doesn't mean a good thing. She's a bad guy. She's a terrorist. She actually, pretending to be Italian counter-terrorist, she's actually a Russian sleeper cell. Joined with the S.H.I.E.L.D. She's actually part of the group Leviathan, and you don't even find that out until she posed. She is the Madam Hydra. Posed as Madam Hydra while in Hydra and turned on them for Leviathan. So she's a very interesting character. Has a little white streak in her hair. She doesn't have it in this show. She has a little purple streak in her hair instead. And she sits between John and his wife. Foreshadowing, definitely foreshadowing, because in the comics they break up. Actually, I'm waiting for John to lose that arm because it getting broken. More foreshadowing. So she sits between them and she says, honestly, they're not even mad that you killed the guy. Honestly, you'd be doing them a favor if you killed everyone. But there's appearances and a lot of things they have to keep up. So uh, she says that she knows that he took the serum, and she knows he doesn't have the shield because when he walks out, they tell him to return the shield. He doesn't have the shield either. And she says technically the shield's ownership is a gray area legally, so they can't press him about it anyway. And when his wife is like trying to figure out who is this woman, she gives her a card. She says the best thing that you ever do with your life, aside from marrying this firecracker over here, is to answer the phone when I call you. And she's saying the fact that he took the serum makes him valuable to certain people, and she's gonna be in touch. When when he looks at the card, he tells his wife it's blank. It's black on one side, while on the other side. I'm definitely gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you a rundown of what I think's gonna happen. I'm just gonna make a note real quick, because yeah, this was a very interesting interaction, and comic book fans should be excited about this. And again, I don't care what Kevin Feige says. The shows are not optional. You need to watch these. Anyway, Zemo is at the Sokovia Monument, paying his respects. Bucky finds him, has a gun in his hand. You know, he says that he decides he's not going to kill Bucky. And I definitely need to do a conversation, maybe a separate video on why Zemo won't kill Bucky. He says he's not going to kill Bucky. And Bucky has a gun, and Zemo says, hey, the girl, she's radicalized. Sam is as stubborn as Steve was. And he's telling Bucky, you know what to do. Bucky pulls this gun up to his head. Zemo has literally just accepted his fate. He is just going to sit here and take this bullet. He looks rather sad. He looks rather, he looks kind of, you see a little bit of the fear in his eyes, but he's preparing to die. Sam pulls the trigger, click, click, click. And Zemo looks, and Sam just, in that metal left hand, he drops all the bullets. He's not that same guy that he was. And he says that we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to do things our way. And suddenly, from behind Zemo, the Dora Milaje appears. He says, guy's not putting up a fight either. He's saying to Bucky, he says, James, he calls him James the whole time. He says, James, I crossed my name out of your book. I have no grudges towards you. I have no ill will towards you. I accept what I've done and I accept my part in all this. All right, ladies, let us go. And the main Dora Milaje woman, who also was a Black Amazon in Zack Snyder's Justice League, she says to him they're going to take him to the raft and have him live out the rest of his days there. We saw the raft in Civil War. The raft in the comics, it's literally in the Bay, New York Bay, and it's an area. Not the top of the raft is supposed to look like Alcatraz. The real raft is all the way underneath in the water, under just at the very bottom. That's where they house all of the supervillains and super criminals, and that's where they were actually housing the people who got captured on Team Cap's team in Civil War. Except there, it's not off of the coast of New York. It's just in the middle of some waterlogged area with storms and everything. It's hard for people to get there, and if you try to escape, I don't know how the heck you're gonna escape without help. Which is actually what happened in the post-credit scene of not Captain America, the post-credit scenes of Civil War, where Cap and Bucky go and save some of their friends. And she tells him, she calls him White Wolf. She says, White Wolf, I would make myself scarce from Wakanda. So, of course, the people in Wakanda aren't too happy that he freed Zemo, but they're going to take care of him anyway. He was just using him as an ends to a means, as a means to an end. And she says, she says, hey, can I trouble you for one more favor? And I'm thinking, oh man, he's going to get that arm fixed or something cool's going to happen. We're going to find out soon. So, back in Baltimore, Sam is walking down the street, runs into Elijah Bradley, who's playing basketball. And one of the funniest things, he's saying, I'm here to see Isaiah. He tells him he's in the back and he'll be there. be there in a minute. It's nighttime right now. Sam is very nervous, so he takes a deep breath. He walks onto the back. Isaiah's watering his flowers. And this is a big moment for him. He asks, you know, he says, "Is that what I think it is?" He's carrying a shield in that same zipper bag Sam had episode 1. He says, "Don't take that shield out. Don't take the thing out. The Star Stripes mean nothing to him." And Sam says, "I need to understand." He says, "You understand. Every black man understands." He said, "Don't give me that bitter old man thing." He says, "If you aren't bitter, then you're blind." And he wants to know what went wrong. And he says he used to be like Sam until he opened his eyes. He opened and saw, he had friends that were in the red tails flying above, and they had crosses burning on their yards. And, Sam goes to him and says, "You could have been the next what? Blonde hair, blue eyes. The world's been chasing that great white hope." And Sam literally stands up for his friend and says, "Steve did not put you in jail." And I guess that moment of stating that fact and standing up for his friend, Isaiah walked him inside the house. He shows him a picture of his wife. His wife died while he was in jail. He was in jail for 30. They locked him up for 30 years. They never told her he was dead. And they never gave him any of the letters. He never gave him any of the letters that she wrote. And they told her that he had died way before that. Really, really, just a very emotional scene. Uh, he was saying that that a handful of them had got shot up with a different version of the serum. Told them it was tetanus. And they sent them on missions even though it was unstable. Several people were dying, and others got injured. And on a mission where some of his friends got captured, he heard the top brass say they're just gonna nuke the whole place. Remember, he's in Korea War. They're gonna nuke the whole place and just to hide everything. He went back alone and pulled everybody out. And they all still died. Unfortunately, they all still died. But he, instead of getting thanked for rescuing them, he lifts up his shirt, shows deep scars. You can just see where it looks like someone had literally opened him up. Not just like taking blood out, but just cutting and pulling things out of him. And that's what he got for saving their lives. The next 30 years they experimented on him and want to know why the serum worked on him in particular. And a nurse had taken pity on him, and she's the one who falsified his forms and said that he was dead and got him out of there. She gave him a little the 10 box with the letters from his wife, and she's actually the one that gave him a daughter. And that's how he got his grandson. And Sam wants to tell people what happened, and Isaiah's like, no, no, no. And Sam flat out says the world is completely different. The world is completely different. He knows people, and Isaiah says, "You think things will be different? You don't think I'll be dead within the day? Because you have the shield of some white man." Says that they were afraid things would get out, so they erased his history, just like they've erased 500 years of history already. If you haven't paid attention, Falcon and Winter Soldier is very heavy, especially on social ethics, especially dealing with people of color. No, I'm not gonna say that. They're dealing with black people. It's very deep, very, very, very deep. If you feel uncomfortable with this, you should feel uncomfortable. I told you before, Isaiah Bradley's tetanus case is the same. It's an allusion to the Tuskegee experiments that they did not so long ago. The last person who died from that was in the early 2000s, I believe. So this is a fresh thing. This is an important thing. Please, I hope people are understanding where this character and his history comes from. Please read Black, White, and Red. Please. I'm sorry, Red, White, and Black. Anyway, Isaiah says, pledge allegiance to that, my brother, because They won't let a black man be Captain America, which is kind of meta because when Sam Wilson was declared to be Captain America, I believe in 2013 or 14, neckbeard, racist white people went ape shit. They went crazy. They hated it. They were trying to boycott it. And everyone of their mom who had a brain and wasn't a 2-bit hack said no. Cap Shield has been passed on to Bucky before. It's gone to other people. It can go to a black man, especially during the moments of during the Trayvon Martin. It's just the whole "don't shoot" that whole thing, and with Trayvon Martin being murdered, this was kind of a thing. This was a thing that needed to. This was a story that needed to be told. So it was very meta that he said America won't ever let a black man be Cap, because if people had their way, we probably wouldn't have gotten a black Captain America. But I digress. Even and he said, even so, even if they did, no self-respecting black man would want to be. And Sam looks really pensive. He looks offended by that, and at the same time, he looks upset. Like he's just like internalizing all of it. So he walks out with the shield in hand. He's looking back, at Isaiah's place. Has his phone in hand. I was trying to take a peek at what his screensaver was. I couldn't. I thought it looked like Captain America to me. And he calls his sister Sarah, tells her he's coming home. Next day, he's fixing the net with his nephews. His talking about we wish he could take them out to a place where their grandparents had took him to go fishing. He says, "Well, we can't sell the boat because Mr. Dim, the Vietnamese guy, says the boat would take too much work just to buy than have to, if they sold it to him and he bought it, he would put more money into fixing it." He was kind of upset with his sister, but she says, "You came home, last night looking really upset with that Isaiah Bradley thing." And he's saying, "I'm upset about the stuff he went through." And she offers to be an ear for him, and he smiles at that. He's happy that she's offering to be a source of comfort for him to talk to her. And of course, he just said he's just trying to figure it out. And we get a moment where his nephew's about to leave, and his sister had made extra lunches for two of their classmates because their classmate's mother is unable to get out of bed. They're very sick. And he's saying, "You're just like our mom. Our mom, helped feed a lot of different people." And, there's probably still some people that remember that debt. He makes some phone calls. He calls everyone who remember. Of course, everybody remembers the Wilsons. The Wilsons are a cornerstone in Louisiana, in this part of the country, and people are happy to bring whatever they have extra to help repair this boat. And when he's talking with someone, they bring this large. I think it's something that's supposed to replace the not the computer. I want to say the sonar. He's saying, "Okay, well, how are you gonna get it off?" And here's Bucky picking it up and putting it down. And is they're having a nice little conversation. He gives him a box. He said, I call in a favor for the Wakandans. This is for you." Suddenly something goes wrong and a pipe is hissing. Sam goes to try to fix it, and Bucky says, "No, you go this way." And he uses his right hand. He says, "You have a metal arm. How come you just didn't use the metal arm?" He says, "I'm right-handed. I forget that I have this sometimes." Bucky and Sarah flirt because he says, "Hi, I'm James." And she says, "Hey, I'm Sarah." And of course, Sam peeps that. So we get nice. I can't pin the name of the song, but we get a song and we get some montages, a nice bonding montage of Bucky helping fix things, Sam and Sarah, everybody just kind of working on the boat together, and you know Sam asks, Carly's not going to throw in the towel. And no, I'm sorry. Bucky asks Sam, "Do you think Carly's going to throw in the towel?" Bucky says, "No, she's probably going to double down." And so Bucky gives him this whole thing about, "Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go. I got a flight to catch. I'm going to sleep in a hotel." And Bucky says straight up, "Dude, why are you going to do this? Everybody here, we accept people for whoever they are. You can stay with me and my family. Just don't flirt with my sister." Hilarious. Meanwhile, we're going. It's nighttime in this other part of the country, and Walker is telling Lamar's family what happened, saying that he killed the killer. His mother, Lamar's mother, says he knew the risk. I believe that's his mother, father, and sister. Lamar was very happy when Walker was chosen to be Captain America, and he had faith in him all the way. And they're just happy that the killer was brought to justice. Which Walker's probably internalizing that it probably wasn't the killer. You can see that on his expression as well. And he tells them, hey, if you need anything, I'm around. Has that little sling around his arm too, because he still had a broken arm. He says, anything you need, I'm there for you. And he ends up walking past, a picture of himself as Captain America, the little promotional pictures. Cap is back. And this is transitioned to Sharon. Says she has a job for someone. She's on the phone. This person's cursing in French. It's Batroc. It is definitely Batroc. I am going to say that I am 95% sure that she is Power Broker. That she is hired Batroc, and Batroc's whole thing is he wants to kill the Falcon. She has to know that. I'm wondering what the heck is going on here. So, Bucky wakes up to see the kids playing with the shields. He kind of laughs and waves and just looks over and he's thinking. He heads to the dock where Sam is still trying to fix the engine, and Bucky helps him take out everything, and he says hi to Sarah. Sarah says hi back, and she says, I told you it's a hose, it's not the engine. Look, back off, Sam. He's like, all right, cool, I'm back up. Very wonderful interaction. One of the best things about this show is Sam's interaction with his sister. I'm so happy that we get to see some moments with his family. So, uh, she calls him Samuel, and Buggy calls him Samuel, which was also funny. So both of them, they head off and leave. They're doing shield practice, and while Sam will throw it, Bucky will catch it. Bucky will throw it. Sam is trying to catch it, and they're having a conversation. And Bucky says, Steve and himself, when he planned to give it to when he told Bucky his plan. When Steve told Bucky his plan, they never fully understood what it meant for a black man to be handed the shield. Neither one of them did, and you know, he says he's really sorry for that. He owes him an apology, and Sam has said, the history behind the shield is complicated, and he tells Sam that the whole thing with Walker was not his fault. The shield was the closest thing he had to a family in his eyes because it belonged to Steve. So when he gave it away, it made him question himself, made him question Sam, made him question Steve. It just kind of rocked his world. And he says he even has Steve's old book with all these names in it. And Sam says, well, Steve is gone, man. And as funny as it may sound, it doesn't matter what Steve thought. He says that Bucky needs to stop looking to others to tell him who he is. Ask him, does he still have nightmares? He says, yeah, I do. And that means, Winter Soldier's still deep down in there. And he tells him, I'm going to give you some tough love. You want to climb out of that hell, then you need to do the work. What you're doing with the book is not mending, you're avenging. And, you're saying sorry because it'll make you feel better. You need to do something to make someone else feel better. He says, I'm sure there's at least one name in that book of someone that you can do that for. Remember the Japanese guy whose son he killed? Got a feeling. I'm just going to jump ahead of what I got written here. Got a feeling that that last episode next week, Sam, Bucky, James, Barnes is going to try to make amends. And it's gonna be a very hurtful scene because I know this guy's gonna be pissed. And even though it won't heal Sam, won't heal Bucky, it'll probably give the other guy some closure. And that's gonna suck. So, Bucky says, yeah, that was a good talk. He generally looks happy. He's very happy that he had this tough love conversation with Sam. Meanwhile, Carly just won't stop. Carly's not gonna stop, so Bucky says, call me when you get a lead, I'll be right there. And so we get the cute bickering that they've always said. He said, we're not partners, we're co-workers who had a mutual friend. He's like, well, our mutual friend's gone. He's like, well, I guess we're just a couple of guys then. And he thanks Bucky for showing up and helping him with the boat. And Bucky says, probably with the shield stuff too. He says, hey, not a problem. Pats him on the shoulder. They both go their separate ways, and Sam is visibly happy, visibly smiling. Sam heads back to the boat with some paint. They're going to paint over their parents' names, his and Sarah's parents' names, and she says, nope, not going to sell it. I can't sell it. And Sam goes into the same way. He says, I can't win every fight, but this is our history. We cannot lose this fight. All our struggles as a people, anything's gonna happen in this world, but I'm not going to lose this fight here. And he says to his sister, he knew that she thought he was running away, but he really thought he can go out there and change the world, especially being a black man. And she said, even when I was yelling at you at the bank, I never thought you ran away. And they get a nice little laughing moment because he said, I never thought you were sensitive. And boy, I really identify with Sam Wilson throughout this entire series. Just I didn't think I would come out of this identifying with him, but good job with whoever wrote this. So she tells him she looks flat out impressed of her big brother because she says there's a fight out there and there's a fight going on here and you took them both on and you're gonna let Isaiah Bradley decide what you're gonna do. You're gonna let him get in your head. And Sam says, "What's the point of all the pain and sacrifice if I'm not willing to fight?" So of course he's not gonna listen to Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah Bradley, his viewpoint is completely valid, but Sam says, "I'm gonna go ahead and do things my way. I'm gonna take the shield and be a symbol, probably be a symbol for everyone out there." And we get a wonderful montage, training montage sequence. The passage of time in these montages are kind of everywhere. I'm pretty sure he didn't learn how to throw and catch the shield properly in a day. I'm pretty sure he has been working on this at least for a week because he's running hard like he did with Steve. He's throwing it. He's doing backflips to learn how to catch it better because he did all the backflippy stuff when he had the wings. So he's doing the backflippy stuff. He's messing around with his nephews. Meanwhile, Carly and the Asian guy who's in her group, they meet up with Backtrack Philippe High, who wants to kill the Falcon. Slides her this big case, has ammunition and all this on it. She speaks French, he speaks French, blah blah blah. She hits a little button. Turns out everybody in this park is part of her stupid flag smashing group. And he was trying to figure out why did you bring me here? She's like, as a test. And you look up in the sky, you see the Empire State Building. They are in New York. Oh no. So there's a GRC meeting going on. It was all over the news. Even Sam was watching on news that they're going to try to find a way to get people who were displaced from the snap from their homes back into their home countries. One of the guys who was in the park, dude with a flat forehead and a flat top head, GRC has been infiltrated. While they're having this discussion on the floor, lights go out. It's about go time. So Sam is watching TV. Torres calls him and says, "Hey man, I just tell you, before it was a bunch of pings over in Europe. Now there's a ping in New York." And Sam says, "Thank you, Torres. But thank you, Joaquin. I appreciate it. I know where to go now." Sam knows it's go time, and he opens up the case. And this case is so cool because it's thumb imprinted. I don't know how the Wakandans were able to get his thumbprint. Probably hacked, but this is a really cool thing. Doop, clicks open. He takes a deep breath. He smiles. He's ready to go. That's where the episode ends. Until we get a mid-credit scene, where in this mid-credit scene, not only has John Walker tried to rip off Captain America, he's now ripping off Iron Man, where he's hammering away, making his own shield, taking the star off of his Medal of Honor, putting it on there, and he's gonna go full U.S. agent on our asses, which is okay. It looked like he was painting the shield red, white, and blue. No, man, U.S. agent's colors, especially going into the early 2000s, were black, red, and white, and I love that. Now, if my hunch is correct, they're probably gonna say go ahead and go with that blue, even though the blue he had on before was a darker navy blue to separate him from Cap's more lighter royal blue. Pretty sure Bucky's probably gonna be red, white, and black with that shield. Oh, ooh, I cannot wait to see what he looks like. All in all, I can't even. It's really hard for me to grade these episodes, y'all. Like episode 2 and 4, best episodes. This one here with the tough conversations that needed to be had. This is up there with it too. This is definitely a 5 out of 5, all the way. What do I think we're going to see in episode 6? It's going to be another 60-minute episode. I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to get at least 3 really good fight scenes. It will definitely be new Cap versus old Cap. It will definitely be Bucky versus old evil Cap. It will definitely be Flag Smasher versus U.S. Agent, and they're probably gonna try to save stupid Carly from getting killed. I hope it's worth the Sam. I really hope it's worth the saving this very boring character. I'm glad Zemo didn't die. Two claps for that. Uh, with Valentina Valentina Allegra de Fontaine with her, Contessa, with her being there, two things. Hydra, Shield, and Leviathan are three splinter groups that splintered off of the Circle of 12, which is Zodiac. Nick Fury's Zodiac was Scorpio. So all that splitting down. Leviathan has been around since Hydra's been around, since Shield's been around. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that probably in the MCU, Leviathan has probably infiltrated Hydra when they infiltrated Shield. And if that is not the case, she's probably going to be helping Norman Osborn create the Dark Avengers. And instead of getting Patriot, the robot with the shield and all that, being evil Captain America, and instead of getting Bucky Barnes to be a dark Captain America, which he wasn't really a dark Cap, but anyway, instead of getting Patriot to be in that dark Iron Man Cap, we're going to get U.S. Agent on that team, even though he has been a Thunderbolt. And if he goes to jail, I have a feeling that Colonel Thunderbolt Ross will be in the end credit scene of episode 6 talking to Zemo saying, I got an idea. And we're probably going to get the Thunderbolts being... The Thunderbolts in MCU will probably be their version of the Suicide Squad. I really wish they... I hope they don't do that. Like, in the recent comics, as far as like 2014, 2015, 2016, when Luke Cage was in charge of watching all these misfits who were at one time villains trying to correct themselves, probably had shock collars or something like that, but I really hope they don't go the whole exploding head route. Please don't rip off of Suicide Squad. Please. You're probably going to do it anyway. But I smell a Thunderbolt's coming. Also, yeah, I mentioned everything. And I'm definitely going to do a video on why Zemo did not kill Bucky. And I do want to do a video on the importance of this show and what this show has done. Because I really feel like this show was supposed to come out in February. I feel like this was supposed to be a Black History Month show. Because, man, they are doing these black characters so much justice. I mean, someone pointed out to me, and I had to think about it. John Walker not only had a black best friend, he has a black wife. They're showing some good stuff here. Showing some really, really good stuff. But please, outside of all the Easter eggs that I've told you about and all the background of certain things, why don't you tell me, what do you think? Do you think that Joaquin Torres is going to repair that Falcon suit and become the Falcon again? That's what's going to happen. It is. Please let me know if you enjoyed the episode down below. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, of course. I really need you to subscribe. I really appreciate you spending time with me. Remember to hit the notification bell if you are subscribed to get notified of more videos like this. As always, please remember to share the video. Show others what a great time we're having with these discussions. I have X-Men on Netflix over here because I'm just going to give you a little secret in here. I'm going to try to do Netflix Fridays where I try to review animes and movies and stuff from Netflix. If not every Friday, every other Friday, because unfortunately Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to end. And after that, I got to give you 2 videos based on why Bucky won't get killed by Zemo and why this show is really great. And the aftermath, of course. So, as always, please be good, be blessed. Thank you for showing up. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Black Lives Matter. Please be safe out there. Be good to yourself and be good to others. Don't be a jerk. And I will definitely see you next time.